Robbie, disappointing defeat again. A bit more of a disappointment after obviously how well we played against Curzon. What's your view on the game as a whole? How do you reckon we played, and how do you reckon the opposition played?
Well, to comment on your observation of the Curzon game, first of all, I thought we did play well against Curzon. Whether Curzon played badly, I don't know. I can only comment on how we played. I thought we moved the ball well against Curzon, and we took that belief and momentum into today. Kidderminster are a top team. I think those who were here today can see that. Their movement is excellent. It's obviously well drilled. Obviously having the luxury of training daily. Set pieces, they were strong. They caught us out several times. From memory, I think each set piece they did was different. So we struggled with that at times. After 7 or 8 minutes, we realised we had to change our shape because of their movement, particularly from full-backs. So we changed it. That seemed to settle the game. I thought we reduced them to long balls then, particularly from the right-sided centre-half. We stopped the full-backs getting out, and we were playing a fairly high press across the middle three. We got to half-time, just about, I feel. But to get to half-time, that took a lot out of us. I think it took a lot out of the players. We worked hard to keep that at 1-1. We come out, and not for the first time, there's been a bit of power and pace thrown at us, and they've got a foothold on the game. In conclusion, the best team won. Man for man, across most of the park, they were better. Sometimes you come up against teams where you have to admit they were the best on the day. I have to say that there's not been many occasions, other than possibly Stockport away, where it's felt like that. We've always felt in the game at times, and for large periods we've competed. We hung on till half time, and ultimately we didn't do enough full time.
Reeves with a goal. I heard he's got new boots. Is that one of them things where it's going to be hopefully a omen for more goals to come for himself? How do you feel now he's got back on the score sheet? Hopefully it's more, even though we're mathematically bottom, hopefully we can get some more goals and just kind of go on the best possible way.
I mean, you can ask Reevesy about his boots. I don't know if they're new, old or indifferent. What I would say about him, he's been training better. He's looked fitter. He's had game time where he's looked more threatening than he has done. Is that because we've slid balls in areas for him, or is that because he's got in better areas? Then, we'll leave that to those observing. It's probably a combination of both. He's took his goal phenomenally well. It looked like he was going to lob him, but he's let it come down on the half volley and flushed it. Going forward, obviously there's a few games left, and we'd be looking for him to get a couple more if he can. I'm sure he will be too. Beyond that, don't know. As with a lot of uncertainty about the place at the moment, I can't comment on what he will do or what we will do or won't do. But today, he did his job. He's in the team to score, and he scored, and so therefore he deserves congratulations for that.
Sam Heathcote, near half-time, he took a bit of a knock. He played on for the second half like a proper trooper. How big of a knock is it actually on Sam when he actually came off? Was it a big injury, or was it one of them where after a bit it would be okay?
At half-time, we tried to keep him mobilised, because when you sit down and rest on a dead leg or bottom half of his back, it just stiffens up. He did keep mobile, but clearly when we brought him out, he wasn't moving, his gait was out, and he's tried. We've asked him to try, but he was in too much discomfort. I don't think it's a long-term injury, but a dead leg or a dead muscle does take a little while to recover.
more youth brought into the team. Harry Kane came off the bench. How important is the youth system to you as an ex-player and you today as the assistant manager? Do you like introducing more youth, pushing it for the future of the club?
It's something we've said to the board. We do need to, as a club, improve the transition between the youth and the reserves and the first team. That gap needs to get closer. Lads who are excelling in the 18s or the reserves, it's a big jump. You know, players are getting paid. You know, some players are getting paid a lot of money. There's a lot more at stake. The incentive value is higher, and the consequences are higher as well. We drip-fed Darius, and we pulled him back out the team. I think he enjoyed his experience. He's going to stay around the first team. We've done the same with Harry. Whether those lads permanently make the step again, we will continue to try and engage those sorts of lads in the first team. They'll stay around the first team for the rest of the season, and he'll train in pre-season with us if we were still here. You look at the age profile of their team today. To me, it looked pretty young. It looked like there's a lot of academy lads been either released or through exit trials have been discovered. I believe one or two of them are going on to bigger and brighter things than this level. So keeping the age profile of the squad down is important.
Stuart Tomlinson, an unfortunate display for him. There was one incident where he was on the far right side and he kind of fumbled with his feet. Also, he made a few good saves, but unfortunately there was a opposition player there to take the chance and score the goal. How important has Stuart been since coming back to football from wrestling, and how important has he been as the main man in between the sticks?
Well, let's remember we brought him in as an emergency keeper, so he did us a huge favour there, and he was obviously quite raw. He hadn't trained much, but it was a time when it wasn't long after Andrew Dorber had gone, and both of our keepers were injured. So he's been great. He's been great around the dressing room. He's been no trouble at all. You would think because of his size and frame and you know what he does outside of football or has done, you would think he'd be quite an intimidating, imposing character at all times, but he's not. He's been fantastic. Tim played last week, and Tim's likely to play next week because Tim's obviously here next season already. So whether Stuart will be here next year, again, I repeat, there's uncertainty about that.
Thank you for this. On a personal note as well, how much do you want to be here next season?
I can only speak for me and on behalf of Matt. As a player, I never wanted to leave. It was a decision I had to make. Was I going to play a bit part as club captain, or was I going to try and go somewhere and contribute more than 20 games a season? And I took that decision. I got a coaching role at that club and loved it, enjoyed it. I then got a permanent post in the management structure there, and then the opportunity to come here through Matt's invitation took about 0.5 of a second to decide on, and I've loved it. I know that it's been turbulent. I enjoy working with the players. We enjoy working with the players. We have an opportunity. Well, let's say we had an opportunity to try and cement a permanent position without following due process. We probably did have that opportunity. The board feel that there's not been enough consistency in outcomes, because I think performances largely across the season have improved, but I accept the outcomes haven't. And we've done our best to convince the board through a presentation to give us a go next year. We'd love to stay. I'd be gutted. We'd be gutted if we weren't here. Just like I was leaving as a player. The infrastructure of the club and the tradition of the club is one. I'm obviously biased, but it does appear far superior to many non-league setups.